the event binding. Yeah, that event binding is also most useful. Or many of times without event binding we cannot perform any task. So event binding, the data flow is most important. How your data flow is flow in your event binding? Data is a flow from view file to your component file. Okay, view to component. If you want to send a data, then you use event binding. Now here data may be your text data, JSON data, or it may be your HTTP request as well. Okay, I mentioned here only data means that we cannot send any request. You can send. You can use HTTP request as well. That is a part of a data. Okay? Means we cannot we call as well as data as well as HTTP request. You can send HTTP request as well. You can send data as well from view file to component file. For the event binding, first we use a event, that is an inbuilt event, click event. That click event, click is a event. Okay? It is a event. We can apply on any HTML. Okay, you can apply any HTML tag. There is no any compulsion that working on this tag or not. You can apply any tag. Okay, so we'll first check out how we can use an event binding. Initially, we use a button tag. Okay, already I created the event binding component. Okay, because sometime my PC will be hang, so already I'm created that component. If you in that case our PC will be hang, that we can waste our time. So for that I've already created initially that created the event binding one before that. And first we can bind that HTML in app.component.html, and we can bind that component selector name. Okay, we call it here, whatever we can write here, that code line number 3, we call it as a mapping of a component. Okay, it is an appropriate verb. Don't call that is a calling of a component. Okay? For your understanding purpose, it's okay calling of a component, but for the technically it is we use a mapping of a component. Okay, so we have to map that component in your app.component.html. Okay, now into the event binding. What is the syntax of event binding? We check it here. Syntax, general syntax. When we use a event binding, use a open close bracket. Okay, it is called a parenthesis bracket, open close bracket or parenthesis bracket. In that, use a event name. Okay, means then that event name will be inbuilt event or your custom event. Okay, whatever. Uh, Further, we can learn our custom event as well, how to create our custom event and how we can apply that custom event as well. First, we can learn here inbuilt event. So in open close bracket, we can mention the event name. Then you have to bind a event handler. Okay? Event handler. Technically, we call it as an event handler. It is a method. Event handler is nothing but your custom method. Okay, that method you have to create in your component file. Then and then that event binding is work, because we mentioned the diagram, data is flow from view to component. So we have to connect your component file with the help of that event handler. Okay, so event handler is nothing but your simply a custom function. I just mentioned here what exactly event handler is. Event handler, for your sake of purpose, I'm just writing here notes for you. Event handler, it is custom method. That method you have to create in your TS file. Okay, fine. That also apply in any HTML tag. So just initially we use a button tag, and on button tag we can just use a click. Okay, that is click is a button name, and apply the event binding. Apply the event binding. We can use a parenthesis bracket. Into that we can mention your event name. So inbuilt click is an event, and equal to you can apply your event handler, means your custom method. I just created on click. On click, it is my custom method name. Then it apply here method. So use a syntax of a method, open close bracket. You have to mention that. Most of the candidates is not use open close bracket and mention that on click, and that game it gives an error. Okay, so make sure it is a custom method, means whatever the syntax of the custom method, calling of a custom method, then we can mention that open close bracket as well. And that on click event we have to create in your component file. So come on to the component file, create a on click method. Okay, open close bracket, and in that we can write a simple logic console.log. We can mention here console.log and just mention here, sorry, log, and mention here click event is off. Click event is off. When we click on that button, that on click method is called, and inside that on click method we can mention here the logic. That logic will be executed. Okay, just we check it here in the browser. Right click if you want to check where the browser, because here we mention the console.log. That console.log will be display on your browser console. It not display in your CMD. Okay, because before that we can use a console dot, then output will be check it in a CMD in the case of a Typescript. But in Angular, we have to check the output on the browser. Okay, so in the browser you can check, right click, inspect, and there is element console. That it is called a developer tools. Okay, shortcut it is called as dev tools. Okay? Browser dev tools. So in the console you can check out here the output, the console.log. Okay, just I'm click here, see here, click event is occurred. That console.log is displayed on your console. Now one more time I'm click that button. What happened? Check it. Again, on click method is called, and in that on click method we mentioned the logic will be executed. If you have to click many more times, every time that method is called, and inside that method what the logic we implemented, that logic will be executed. That count will increase, means the console.log is all right here, and it display the count, how many times you click the button, and that method will be called. Understand these things?